I think this is a very fertile direction for people to look at, especially as more and more occupies the realm of intellectual property rights in terms of what is considered value in our society.
And at the same time, I mean, empirically, if you go to firms and you ask what is the most effective way of appropriating your innovation, only in pharmaceutical, they say patent at the top. In most other industry, there is secret, lead times, complexity, sheer complexities of the product. But IPR are not such a powerful mechanism. And in pharmaceutical, where they are, we have a problem there. We have a serious problem there because you have the first stage of the research that is done paid by the public, generally by the public. Then the promising molecules are given to Big Pharma that does the testing under condition of terrible conflict of interest, massaging the data. This is the word. There are companies that massage the data. Then at the end, they find few chemical entities that work. They make a markup on the entire sequence, including the part paid by the government, and they sell the drug to whom? In Europe, 95% to the government. And in this country, 50 or 60% to the government. So they make a markup on something that the government has spent, and then they ask the money again to the government.
We need to study political economy very closely now.
Very closely. And I mean, the proposal that people like Joe, I think also George Soros and others, including me, make is have the government go the other mile, all the way down to the testing. At that point, in any case, the testing is done in a public hospital entirely in Europe and half in the States. At that point, when you get the molecule, you give it to Big Pharma, but then at non-exclusion.
An auction or something to sell the rights of a developed.
But at that point, they've got to produce at marginal cost, like if it were a brewery or gasoline.
Yeah, a friend of mine who studies pharmaceutical industry said they always talk about in that industry that they need to pay for R&D, but essentially it's the taxpayers that are paying for the R&D. They're paying for marketing.
Exactly.
And I don't know enough about the industry to have validated that, but that appears to be the kind of logic that we've seen in recent years. And then the generic alternatives are kept out, which is essentially creating monopoly rents.
Monopoly rents and pushing it over time, also after the 20 years after the expiration.
Well, myself as a macroeconomist, the only time I get really upset by this, other than when I have to pay for drugs, is when I look at the like Congressional Budget Office and other budget analysts who never consider public expenditure on science as having anything to do with society's productivity. And whatever and however messy it is that it transmits or becomes a monopoly, the biotechnology industry, pharmaceutical industry are more productive based on public expenditures that were made in an earlier chapter that, how we say, started these innovations.
And they are not so productive because at the end, the last mile, Big Pharma essentially looks for Me Too drugs, cosmetic change in existing drugs. Don't take risk, especially on diseases.
At the margin, there's not a lot of new impact as a result.
And in fact, the number of new chemical entities approved each year by the FDA ranges between 20, 30. That's all.
That's interesting.